Father, Soldier, Son premiered today on Netflix, and the questions I'm going to answer about it are, what is it, and should I watch it? Father, Soldier, Son is a new documentary on Netflix produced by Leslie Davis of the New York Times. She's a documentary filmmaker with a handful of interesting credits to her name, which up until now have consisted of all short documentary films according to IMDb. This story centers around Army Sergeant First Class Brian Eisch and his family. The movie opens with a scene showing Sergeant Eisch coming home on R&R during a deployment to Afghanistan and spending a couple weeks with his sons at their home in New York before returning back to Afghanistan. This is common for anyone on a 9-month or longer boots-on-ground deployment. After getting back on deployment, he is wounded. He's shot in the legs while trying to rescue an Afghan soldier who had been hit by an RPG. I was wondering why there was a camera crew following Sergeant Eisch at all, and you'll probably be wondering the same thing since it's never really explained. What I found online was this documentary started as a New York Times piece following that unit on their deployment during the surge in Afghanistan in 2009, but shifted to a much more personal story of Brian and his family after he was wounded. Now, here's the thing about this documentary. You think you're watching the story of a wounded veteran struggling with post-deployment life, post-military life, and dealing with injuries sustained overseas, as well as rediscovering his identity after experiencing trauma and loss, which I think is something that most veterans will find highly relatable and impactful. But about halfway through, something happens, and I won't say what, but something happens and you realize that, or at least I think that, this story is actually not about that at all. This is a story about the only thing that really matters, family. And it's not always pretty. We follow this family through 10 years of their lives and many major events. I'll be honest, on more than one occasion, I had tears running down my face watching this. The resiliency and courage displayed by this family is remarkable. And that's not to say that it's always perfect or easy to watch. Reality is that families go through hard times. People go through hard times. But the courage and strength to keep going and never give up is truly moving here. I have never seen a story told of military service and the service of the family that has been more thoughtful, impactful, or honest. This film leaves you with a lot to think about, and I'm sure I'll be thinking about it for quite a while still. Listen, I want to say this sincerely before I wrap up. There's a lot of trash talk between branches in the military. I've done quite a bit myself in Afghanistan, where I was deployed twice with the Army. But I say this now from my heart and soul. There is no tougher, more dependable, honorable person alive than a good soldier, even if you guys can't play football. If you're looking for a film that takes a no-holds-barred, deep dive into the life of a soldier and the sacrifices not only made by them, but also their families, this is it. I don't even want to rate this documentary because how do you rate someone's life story? But just to help you decide whether or not to cue this one up tonight, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs way up and all the respect and admiration in the world to retired Master Sergeant Brian Eisch and his family. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. For more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Like this video, share it with friends, subscribe to the podcast, The ScuttleButt Show, and find me on social media at The ScuttleButt Show. And until next time, out for now.